All right. Good morning.
Hey, good evening.
Yeah. Guten Abend. Guten
Guten Abend.
Morgen. Amy, who you've been working with, gave me some yarn to show you and gave me this shawl to show you.
Oh, wait, I have mine here. Just hang on. So this is my version.
Oh, that's right.
It is such a romantic color combination. I really
Yes.
like pink. And I think I saw photos of the one you have in your hands already. Yeah, Amy sent me photos a couple of weeks ago. Your test knitter, no, your sample knitter. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then these. Obviously, my lighting is not really great, but
Are these the colors? It's a little hard to see, but these are the colors used for the shawl.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's Salty Tails from Hedgehog, and then Flash Dance.
Ah, so beautiful.
Yeah.
I like it. It's really good. I mean, this shawl is so strongly depending on color choice. If you take a look at the test knit we did on Ravelry, there is many different versions. Oh, how can you wear a shawl with these temperatures? I will not do it. I can't make myself put it on. There's so many different color combinations, and it's so interesting to see how differently the shawl appears. I mean, you can easily make it an elegant one or a funky one or a black and white version, and it really changes the character of the piece.
You like the pink, though, that you chose?
Yeah.
Remind me what colors. Was it Scout?
No.
You remember?
It's the Melantosh yarn. So the TML it's the copper pink solid.
That's right. Yep, copper pink solid.
And the Tosh is Taffy, or not Tosh. The Hedgehog is Taffy, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you like the alpaca?
Yes, it was the first time I used the boucle yarn, actually.
Yeah.
So I've worked with one before. And of course, it does take a bit of time until you get used to it. You know, there's all these little loops in.
I was going to ask, did your needles get caught in it?
Only in the beginning. So once I got familiar with it, it was not a problem at all. I used sharp wooden needles. So
I was going to ask, what brand of needles, what kind of needles do you prefer?
I usually work with KnitPro because they are available everywhere here, and I really like them. And I would recommend them for this kind of yarn. So not necessarily KnitPro, but this very pointy ones who don't have a rough surface. Right?
Okay.
Some bamboo needles, for example, they have this rough surface, and I think it would not be a good choice with the boucle.
That's a good point. Yeah, like some bamboo ones are they're like my fingernails because maybe I don't eat well enough.
Yes.
So anyway, so I think it's nice and cozy when you have air. So my office has air conditioning in it, which I hate. Mm-hmm. I'm cold and I need my shawl.
Oh, I wish I was cold.
Yeah. Which remind me, tell everybody what the name of this is.
So this is Only Good Vibes. It's a shawl that, maybe you reached out to me in the first place to ask or to tell me about your idea to, make a collaboration of brands who actually compete with each other, like Melantosh and Hedgehog. Well, they are both on the same market, so they are competitors in a way, but in a good way. So I think everyone is also interested in doing good for the entire industry, and so everyone somehow supports everyone. At least that's what I found to be your main idea in this. So I got to choose colorways from Hedgehog and Madeline Touch to combine them and yarn bases. And then I made this shawl, and we actually wanted to release it on Mother's Day. Maybe you remember we planned this to be a Mother's Day collaboration.
Yep.
Well, and then something happened and the world stood still, so we had to delay the release a bit because yarn mills were not operational, and so everything got pushed a bit behind. And I think we are planning this now for September, right? And we have a date already. It's September 8 or 9 or...
Yep, right around my 20th wedding anniversary.
That will be the day?
I think so, yeah. Mine is, ours, I guess, because it's my husband too. But it's September 9th.
Oh.
Yeah, years.
That's awesome. 20th. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in 4 days, it will be my first anniversary with my husband.
Oh, congrats. You're like newlyweds that have been together for a very long time.
Yes, we have. So we are together since 2006. So, but we had the kids, and then we bought the house, and then we never had time to actually get married. But we did that last summer, and yes, it will be our first anniversary. And we wanted to do something very special on that day, but then Corona happened. But we will go out for dinner in an outdoor restaurant, so that'll be nice. Yeah.
Okay. You can wear your shawl.
It will be so hot. So
yeah. When you start on a project like this, do you sketch it all out, or do you do it as you go?
Neither of both. I usually start with the yarn, so I try to find out what characteristics of the yarn are worth displaying. Like, for example, if I had an alpaca yarn, then I would not make a cable pattern, right? Because it would just not make a lot of sense. So I try to listen to the yarn to find out what kind of pattern would best showcase its characteristics. And then I will try to find a stitch pattern that displays these characteristics nicely. And then I make a lot of swatches. So many people think, if you're a knitwear designer, you are so experienced, you never have to swatch. But of course, the opposite is true. You have to swatch a lot because, you want to find out things about the yarn and about the fabric you're about to create. So swatching is really an essential thing I'm doing a lot. And then once I know that, this stitch pattern is actually working with this yarn and is also looking very good, I try to find a shape, so a shawl shape that best fits this stitch pattern in terms of math, so in terms of pattern repeat. And so it's a technical approach, I think. Because no one wants to have a knitting pattern that has 30 pages. So if you need to find a way to also phrase it nicely and to make a chart that looks nice, so that doesn't overwhelm the knitters. So it's a bit of a mix for me to find a pattern that looks aesthetically with that kind of yarn, and then also have a pattern that produces a short knitting pattern. So that's
interesting. That's a really interesting mix, or I wouldn't have thought about it, of course. Because you do such a good job that I don't have to think about that blend of aesthetic and functional.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So nice to knit, but nice to wear.
Yeah. Yes, because you want the knitter to enjoy both, right? It's a knitting for most of us. Well, not actually for me, but for most of us, it is a hobby right now. For me, it was a hobby when I was not a professional designer. But if you turn something into your profession, then you need to find another hobby. But that's fine. So that's not a problem. So I always think that if knitting is your hobby and you're having a long day at work, and then you're putting the kids to bed, and then you finally have your time in the evening, your me time, your pleasure time, your time off, then you don't want to
struggle,
have another quest. You want to enjoy the time. I mean, I'm certainly not speaking for all the knitters. Some really enjoy the challenge and to have complicated patterns and patterns that that teach them something on a very high level. For me, it was always different. I always wanted to relax and enjoy the progress, but not have the progress overwhelm me. So that was always my way of thinking of this. So
that's really smart. Really well put.
Should be enjoyable, the process, but also the result. So
what do you do? Where are all these samples that you've made? I mean, how many garments do you have? And are they in your house?
Yeah, they are. Most of them are in my house. So I'm currently sitting in the basement here because the temperatures are so grueling. I can't sit anywhere else. But my studio is under the roof, so I'm not there at the moment. I just don't go there. And I have some big baskets on the ground, and I roll my shawls up, so I don't usually fold them because they get these folds. So I usually roll them and put them in plastic bags, and then in a cupboard or in one of these baskets. And yes, there is many. I just recently decided I'm ready to say goodbye to some of them. And so I did a raffle for one of them, and I raised money for our primary school. And that was really a good thing to do. And I think I might do it again in the future. So maybe even for the upcoming Vrinda shawl, another collaboration that you suggested.
I say that the husband is from Uruguay, Jay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've not met them in person, but I think she is a climber also, and we've exchanged some climbing photos on Instagram. So that was really lovely, and I think it's always good to explore new dyers and new companies, new people. So that was a treat for me,
and new energy. So you said you had to find a new hobby. Is that climbing for you?
Well, it was climbing at the moment because the temperatures are so grueling. I can't even climb. So,
Are you staying sane? Are you staying sane?
I found another hobby. So.
Okay, what is it?
I picked up writing again. So, in Corona, somehow we all were so locked in here at home, and for me it was not much of a change because I was working from home anyway. So it was not a big change. But of course, the kids were here all day. They needed assistance in being homeschooled, and my husband was here, which surprisingly I enjoyed. In the beginning, I always thought, it might not be good if we are together all day, every day. But now I have to say, no, it's actually pretty cool. So I really like that. But it was a bit of a change to my everyday routine. And luckily, all my deadline projects were signed off that day. It was a lucky coincidence that I didn't have a lot of job pressure when Corona hit us. And so I picked up writing, and I started writing a novel and wrote some short stories. So that's something I really enjoy right now. So I don't miss climbing that much, but I'm sure once the temperatures are more human, then I'll go back to it. Yeah.
So how are you staying in shape? How are you staying active? I mean, you obviously have a ton of energy, and so
I'm not staying in shape. So let's talk about something else. It will be a sad return to climbing in fall because I'll be such a worse climber than I was before. But
I was curious. So if we go back to design just a little bit, is there any kind of garment that you haven't designed? That you have you done socks? Have you done?
I've not done socks. Yeah. And that's because I don't like knitting socks. I don't know. I mean, I love wearing socks, not in this weather, obviously, but usually I love wearing hand knit socks. I love having a lot of them, but I hate making them. It's just like, I don't know why, because I really love making mitts. So it's not, you wouldn't think it's such a big difference, right? But I really hate making socks. It's not my thing. So I've not made any sock pattern. Right. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. One thing that I wanted to go back to, because when you and I were talking about this Hedgehog and Madeline Tosh collaboration, you said something to me that I thought was really interesting. And, the Hedgehog and Madeline Tosh collaboration came about because when we bought Madeline Tosh, the first person that I called was Beata from Hedgehog. Mm-hmm. Said, hey, I think there's some great ways we could work together. How can we make this a win-win? Because at Jimmy Beans, we've worked with Hedgehog. I've been to Ireland and visited with Beata. Love what they do. And I happen to be one of those people that thinks it's not a zero-sum game. I think the more we work together, the more the whole industry can grow. Yes. So I was like, let's do a collaboration together. Let's see if Melanie would do something together. And let's really shake things up, because so many people are scared to do things together because they get competitive or whatever. And so she's really on board. And you, when you and I were talking about it, you said something about how you haven't designed much with two different companies just because, but that you would love to. Do you remember that?
Well, could you repeat the last sentence, because the connection was just gone?
You had mentioned that you have not designed with multiple companies very often, but that you've always wanted to.
Right. Yes. Well, it was something I never did, because I usually received yarn support from yarn companies. And my way of, saying thank you for that. I mean, yarn support is a nice thing to have, but it is not a gift you get, right? It's an investment. The company, of course, wants you to design something with it because they want and need the advertisement. So I was very aware of that. And so that's why I was always hesitant to use a competitor's yarn in the same project, because, also, you never know, these two companies, are they friends with each other, or do they know each other, or is there something going on that I'm not aware of? So I was just always hesitant. I wanted to have one yarn used for one project and then later move on to the next yarn and do the next project, but not really mixing them up. So what you suggested was, a bit of a new thing for me. And really, it opens up a lot of new options, because you are not so limited in your decisions when it comes to, which yarns can I use? Which colorways can I combine? Sometimes you love a colorway from that dyer and another one from that company, but you, felt you could not really use them together. So, I'm always for uplifting others instead of trying to keep them small. If you will help others to rise, then eventually you will also rise, because what you give is what you get, right? In some ways. So I really like this philosophy. So when you made the suggestion, I was all in for that.
Yay.
I remember.
Well, I thought one of the reasons that I like the idea, and, we'll see if other people like it as well, is I want to figure out ways to increase the sales and the traffic in local yarn shops. So, if anybody's actually watching this, don't buy everything at Jimmy Beans. We only want just whatever you can't find at your local yarn shop, come to us for. That was the whole goal. But by doing some collaborations with multiple brands, I feel like what that does is shops that carry these multiple brands can put together a kit, and not everybody's going to have both of these brands, and it becomes a really unique, interesting way for shops to get more traffic, and for shops to try different brands, and all to recognize.
Right. A lot of knitters are very anxious about leaving the trodden path. So if a designer suggests a yarn in a pattern, they want to use exactly that yarn and in exactly that colorway. So they are very anxious try out something different. I use a lot of American brands, obviously, but also there's a lot of German knitters who want to knit my patterns. So I repeatedly have the question and also the critique, like, hey, why are you always using yarns that are so hard to get here?
Right.
I keep telling them, yeah, but you don't have to use them. There is so many options out there. People in America are crazy because they can't use the yarns we have here in Germany. So it's like a vice versa kind of thing. So I have the hope that projects like this one with Only Good Vibes will also encourage knitters to leave that pathway and be more experimental and more open and less anxious. Fear is it's always a bad thing. So especially in your hobby, right? So
it makes
sense. It's
yeah. So let me see that Together Apart again. And what a great name.
Mm-hmm. And it came out when the social distancing was still very intense for a lot of people, when it was new and when everyone felt like, hey, we are really in a cage somehow. We are locked. So a lot of people had less contact to their loved ones. And the idea behind Together Apart was really that you can make the shawl in 2 different colorways, so in inverted colorways, and keep one and send the other one to a friend that you can't see in person right now. So these are the 2. Well, the light here is not good, so it really does not show the original colors very well, but maybe you can get an idea of the inverted colorways. And that was the philosophy behind it and the idea. So one of my very favorite designs. Good.
Really?
Yes, it was a very special one for me. Sometimes, I've made a lot of designs in my life, and you can't have a super personal connection with every single one of them. It's like to some you are more attached and to others not so much. And this is definitely one that I felt was something really special. So
do you think that's how people feel who have like 12 children? That you can only be attached to so many of them?
No, but think you have 150 children.
Oh.
I don't know. I have no idea. So I only have 3, so I can still be attached to all 3 of them. But if they were thousands, then it might be different. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Exactly. Okay. Speaking of decent human being, do you have any yarn related tattoos?
No, nothing yarn related.
You think you would ever do that? No, I don't either.
No. Well, I got myself a tattoo last year, so a really big one. But there is in all of this tattoo, there is not a lot of connection to things I love or things that are important to me. It's just a very visual, aesthetic piece of art, but not so much connected to my my life or so. It's not like some tattoos are telling the story of a person's life or so. This is not for mine. I'm not sure if I would think of getting one. I saw your tattoo here just when you your arms. What is that?
They're birds on a wire.
Oh, wow.
So I got it when I turned 40. And then I got Huck's birthday and our anniversary on my arm. I was just going to get our anniversary, but then Huck got really upset.
It is telling a bit of your life story here.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this was my anniversary gift to Doug last year for our 19th. He has to remind me about our anniversary. I'm not very good at that. Okay. So last year I just said, look, I'm in. It's been 19 years. I'm not going anywhere. I'll get it tattooed here. We're good. Okay, we good? All right, cool. Yeah. But yeah, so then Huck's like, what about me? What about me? So I put his birthday on there too, so I can't forget.
Awesome.
And you take all of your model photography, right? Mm-hmm. For your designs?
Yeah. I have a remote control and a how is that thing called? Stativ in German.
Like a tripod?
Tripod, yes.
Yeah.
I'm using a little corner in our living room, and it's a terrible dilettante setup, but it works. So
it's great. They look so great, and you've nailed it. Like, you have a real brand, you know, it's a really strong look and feel. So that when we, you know, I see a picture, we know it's a Melanie Berg design. Like, how cool is that? That's really great. It's super.
Yeah.
Really smart.
Sometimes I think, I should maybe try out some different kinds of pictures. Like, some people are taking pictures outside or using different model, but also that would be so complicated. I mean, I have the working setup, so I'll just stick with it.
Yeah, I think stick with it. It sounds great.
No plans. It's like
exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, still we have them.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, it's really nice to see you.
Yes, it was really good talking to you. Say hi to everyone on the team, especially to Amy and Anne, who are, also I've met Amy like something like 5-6 years ago at H&H. So that's a good memory also. So say hi to everyone, and
I will.
Take care. Stay healthy.
Okay. I'll talk to you later. Holler, and then hopefully I'll see you in March or February.
I'll be there. If H&H will happen, then I'll be there, and I would love to see you guys. That would be fantastic.
Likewise.
Take care.
Go to dinner and get some liver, whatever you called it.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.